Manchester United are ready to make their move for Antoine Semenyo. I'm sure you know that because that's been reported the last few days. But the big thing is, does Semenyo want to come to Manchester United? And there is a feeling he is happy to join Manchester United. Could we be winning the race for him? Interestingly, United are also looking at defensive reinforcements. Semenyo seen as a left wing back, but Man United are going to go into a 4-3-3, so it could be a left winger. We know that United have been looking at maybe defensive reinforcements, and another player Man United are looking at who could be available for 3 in the summer is Mark Guehi. The only problem is I've always felt that Semenyo and Guehi are going to go to Liverpool in 2026, but Liverpool seem to be very quiet on Semenyo, seeing what happens with Salah. They might look elsewhere from Guehi. Could Liverpool be worried as Manchester United are now targeting to hijack those Semenyo and Guehi deals and bring them in? We're going to talk about the latest on Mainoo. We'll talk about the Glazer leaks if we get time. We'll talk about Manchester United wanting to sign 2 midfielders and more. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, update, roundup show, where I'm going to round up all the latest Manchester United news into 10 minutes for you guys. If you are new to the channel and enjoy the content, feel free to subscribe. I do videos every single evening on the channel, rounding up all the Manchester United news in one day into 10 minutes. So if you don't have time to watch live streams or multiple shows and you just want one relevant 10-minute roundup, that's what I do on the channel. I also tell you if the sources are credible or not. So yeah, let's get into it. Starting with this, so Ben Jacobs went on the United stand earlier today. I think he does a weekly show with them on a Thursday, sort of lunchtime, and he always brings up lots of good information. The thing about Ben Jacobs is he actually mentioned a couple of weeks ago that United may go for Semenyo, but we weren't sure if we were going to go for Semenyo because midfield is clearly priority, and obviously it's now been confirmed by other sources that United are going for Semenyo. I will just say I'm on the go, so I'm recording this in one of these temporary office booths, so I don't have my mic or any of my recording equipment with me, so I do apologise if the audio is a bit more echoey than normal. I just want to clarify that. But Ben Jacobs said on the United Stand today that United are actively interested in Semenyo. United and Arsenal would prefer to do a deal in the summer due to financially, but if suitors come knocking in Jan, you may have no choice. United are looking to see if they can do the deal now. We wanted Semenyo last summer. We didn't get Semenyo last summer. We went for Mbeumo and Cunha. Some issues happened with Semenyo, and he decided to stay at Bournemouth, sign that contract where he's got that 65 million release clause. Amorim wants Semenyo, Man United wants Semenyo, but United wanted to get Semenyo in the summer. We don't necessarily need Semenyo now. If we're going to a 4-3-3, it actually makes a lot more sense because I think he can play left wing back, but if Ahmad's right wing back, would Semenyo left wing back be too attacking? I think it'd be good for certain game states, but not all game states. I think with Zirkzee set to go to Roma, then Semenyo makes sense as a number 10 option for sure. But United have realised, well, if they don't go for Semenyo in January, he won't be available in the summer. So even though they didn't want to get him now because we haven't got Europa League football, we've got less games, we don't necessarily need him. They might miss out on an opportunity. So it looks like United are going to go for Semenyo now. Now, Ben Jacobs said the deal breaker for this deal would be if Semenyo picks one club, that would eliminate all other clubs. So if he picks United, Tottenham and City will go away. Arsenal and Liverpool are also looking at him, but it was said that Liverpool apparently is Semenyo's ideal club, but they won't do anything unless Salah goes. They're going to see what happens with Salah. Arsenal, apparently they're not going to do anything until the summer, but if Arsenal's plan is to hope that Semenyo picks them and waits till the summer because he is a boyhood Arsenal fan, so we'll have to wait and see. City might be favourites, but he's got to compete with Doku and then Cherki the other side, which is much more difficult. But then you could say he's got to compete with Cunha and Mbeumo. So, to be fair, who knows? But interestingly, Dean Jones did say he would be happy to join Manchester United. Man United are monitoring Semenyo closely and believe, based on early explorations, that he would be open to a move to Old Trafford. There is a feeling inside United that he'd be happy to move to Old Trafford. United wouldn't be going for a player that they didn't feel was open to the move. He was very open to the move in the summer, but apparently he learned what we get offered Cunha in wages and then offered him in wages and then decided to stay. Apparently he was open to joining in the summer, and then Bournemouth also put pressure on him to sign the new deal because they got raided at the back. So we do know that. Now, and also Man United were put off by Bournemouth asking for like 75 million, so that's when no one got him in the summer. So there is a feeling that Semenyo would be happy to join Manchester United. United wouldn't be going for a player if he wasn't happy to join. But Dean Jones said there is a feeling that Liverpool is his first choice. Liverpool need that Luis Diaz replacement. He's that guy. They need that left winger. He's the kind of winger that Arne Slot wants. But Liverpool spent a lot of money in the summer. Will they do anything in January? Will they prioritise a centre-back in January? Because their back line with Gomez out, it's just relying on Konate and Van Dijk is very thin. I think if Liverpool have funds to spend in January, they're going to prioritise a centre-back. But we also want to prioritise a midfielder. We can't get the midfielders we want till summer. Liverpool might not be able to get the centre-backs they want till summer. They also need a winger. Salah might go. They could go for Semenyo. I think if Salah goes, Liverpool gets Semenyo. I think Liverpool and Arsenal are ahead of Man United. I think we could compete with City. Not for Elliot Anderson, but I think Elliot Anderson will pick City over us. But I think for a wing spot, we could compete with City and we could compete with Tottenham for Semenyo, who is believed to be open to the move and happy to move to United. But he may prefer another club. Amorim said we should have an Ahmad with a right foot to put on the other wing. It is these characteristics that in time we will try and get better as a team. I think he was linking at Semenyo. United Truthfuls put this out today. We know that Ruben Amorim massively wants Semenyo. We know that Ruben Amorim is a huge Semenyo fan and he's putting a lot of pressure on the club to go and get Semenyo in January. We know the fact that Amorim views him very highly. That could convince Semenyo to come. Semenyo said dinner with Amorim. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, it was said by Ben Jacobs, regardless of whether United sign Semenyo or not, they will sign two experienced midfielders either in January or the summer. There's been a lot of Man United fans upset online and rivals saying online, why Man United going for Semenyo? They need a midfielder, they need a midfielder. 100%. Midfield should be priority. We should be signing a midfielder before Semenyo. But if we don't sign Semenyo this January, he won't be around in the summer. Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton and Carlos Baleba will be around in the summer because they're not going to any other club in January because their clubs won't sell them in January. Man United would, if we could get Elliot Anderson or we could get Semenyo, we would go and get Elliot Anderson over Semenyo any day of the week if we could get Elliot Anderson in January. We would. If he was for sale in January, if Elliot Anderson had 65 million release clause and Semenyo had a 65 million release clause, I think we'd be all in Elliot Anderson, yeah? United can't get Elliot Anderson, who's their number one target until the summer. Forest have made that clear. They're in Europe this season, Forest. They want to do well. They want to obviously get up the league. So just remember that. Also, Baleba could be available, but it might take a ridiculous bid and he's out of form. Wharton, there's a lot of competition for. I think we could look at João Gomez. I think we could look at Ruben Neves, depending on fee price, if they're available. I think we should look to sign a midfielder. I think we desperately need a midfielder in January. But it's not that we're prioritising Semenyo over midfield. It is there's a good winger available. There might not be the midfielder one available. Another part of me thinks that Zirkzee and Roma, they've had advanced talks. There's a feeling United are going to let him go on loan with an obligation to buy. And Zirkzee now wants the move. He wants to go back to Italy, link up with Gasperini. There's a feeling that Zirkzee's departure with a 30 million obligation to buy is a rumour. Obligation to buy under certain conditions, by the way, could allow us to make the room for Semenyo. Because then Semenyo and Mount are your left 10s. Cunha's probably and Sesko are your striker options, even though I prefer Cunha as a left 10. And then Mbeumo and Amadi right 10 options. And then you've got two really good options for each position, which we don't necessarily need when we're going to have one game a week, because we'll probably get knocked out to Brighton in the first round of the FA Cup. But it's always helpful. In regards to other sales, it was said that Man United will only consider selling Kobbie Mainoo in January if they receive an exceptional offer. United do not want to sell him and are equally reluctant to let him leave on loan. There's about 12 teams queuing out for Mainoo on loan. I think some teams would like to do a permanent deal. I think selling Mainoo permanently would be a joke. I think letting him go on loan would be a fair decision. But you probably saw Mark Guehi in the thumbnail. You probably saw me talk about Mark Guehi at the start of the video. Liverpool could be worried. Man United are going to go for Mark Guehi. Now, I know this from a source that I've spoken to, who told me we were going to go for Cunha about a year ago. He said we're going to go for Mark Guehi. He's not saying we're going to get Mark Guehi, but he said United are going to go for him. Liverpool have dropped off a bit this season. United could finish above Liverpool this season. We could be in Champions League at the end of the season. Liverpool might not be. You just don't know where it's going to go. Also, if Amorim stays and plays a back three, he plays in a back three Guehi. But defensive reinforcement is a priority for Man United, and they may target centre-back and left wing-back under the age of 25. Guehi is 24. And it has been said by CC Transfers, who's a Discord, and he's pretty accurate with a lot of his info. But he's been talking about Manchester United, and he was saying that Semenyo and Guehi are who they want to try and poach. They're seen as the opportunities. You know, one's got a release clause, one's available for free, could be available for cheap in January because Palace might not want to lose them on a free. That was interesting because there's obviously been the Semenyo links, but he also mentioned Guehi, and we do know that Man United want a centre-back. And I spoke to someone saying we could go for Guehi, and that we're looking to give Liverpool some competition for Semenyo and Guehi, which will be interesting. Will they end up at Liverpool? Will they go to Man United? Who knows? Because Liverpool have dropped off. Last but not least, I saw this report and I thought it was funny. Mourinho expressed desire to get rid of Anthony Martial. Meanwhile, lost all momentum once the message reached Florida. Joe Glazer likes him, Mourinho was told. I would go mental if I was a Man United manager. I wanted to get rid of a player. They're like, nah, Joel Glazer likes him. Imagine if Amorim was like, we need to move on Onana. No, Joel Glazer likes him. I liked Martial. I'm glad that we didn't sell Martial under Jose because he had a really good period under Ole and then was injury prone. We shouldn't have given him the crazy wages that we did. But if Mourinho wanted him gone, you know, and the people that know football want to back Mourinho, then you get rid of him. Not selling him because Joel Glazer likes him is nuts, because Joel Glazer knows nothing about football. It just shows the shambles of this club. Anyway, people, thank you for watching today's video. See you next time. Bye.